which way to go. I love my fatherland. Oh yeah. I want to know which way Nigeria is heading to. Many years after independence, we still find it hard to start. How long shall we be patient before we reach the promised land? Let's save Nigeria, so Nigeria won't die.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us. Solutions 93.9 FM is the station. Of course, this Sunday afternoon, the 8th day of October, I bring you Pendulum. Yes, Pendulum is the show, and my name is Ayodeji Ajishope. Presenting. I tell you, it's always a pleasure to be with you wherever you may be located in this global space. Yes, this global space now is a global village. The world at your fingertips. I've seen people watch us from 6,000, 10,000 kilometers away. And of course, it's always like we are in the same studio. It's a pleasure to be with you, to bring you another edition of Pendulum. Vic Regis is at the other end, producing me. Yes, we have come to an era where criticizing so easy. But I think it is enough of criticisms, observations. It is time to profile not just solutions, pragmatic solutions to the challenges that we are confronted with. It is in this regard that I bring to you today a practitioner. And of course, it is an area in which we have always had comparative advantage. It is where we came from. And of course, it should be where we are headed now. Because it is, like our station is, it is the solution. It is the remedy to the challenges that we are confronted with. It is like a family that cannot feed itself. What then is that family doing? Feeding is a fundamental, just like clothing and shelter. But even if you don't have, in an extreme situation, even if you don't have clothing, even if you don't have shelter, oh, you certainly must feed. And of all the three fundamentals, feeding is the one. It is in this regard that we talk about not agriculture alone today, because you hear it, agriculture, but the business end of agriculture, agric business. You produce cocoa, you sell the cocoa raw, you buy it back in chocolate, you buy it back in coffee, you buy it back in Bonvita with value addition. Yes, we should not just be doing the production of the raw materials, but adding value to it. Today, I bring you someone who is an operator in the field, yes, and of course has been around for quite a while. He is the chairman at Greek Development Farmers Association of Oyo State. He's also the Oyo State chairman, National Coffee and Tea Association of Nigeria, and the coordinator of Oyo State Farmers School, where it is even taught. So, it is a pleasure to bring to you this afternoon Alhaji Saliu Imam. I most warmly welcome you, sir, to this station. I've engaged you quite a number of times on radio and outside, on television and outside television, but this is the very first time, and I think it is appropriate because radio is a very powerful tool that with the farmers. And we're going to be doing it in a mix of English and Yoruba so that we can reach as many as possible, including the farmers and those stakeholders that you engage with. You are most warmly welcome to our studio, sir.
I'm delighted to be here, especially engaging with you. It's always an honor.
It is a pleasure, sir.
Talk to you.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Yes, let's talk about where are we coming from? Where is Nigeria coming from in terms of agri? Where were we that we were able to build cocoa house? Where were we that the Western region was able to do free education? Where were we that with this, Greek, the pyramids in Kano, and all of that, the rubber plantation, the palm oil in the South, where were we and where are we now?
Thank you so much. My pleasure to be here once again, and I say hello to our listeners. Well,
and viewers too.
And viewers too,
yes. They now watch radio too.
Okay. Now, let me start from the way you asked the question. Where are we now? Where were we before? Right. I think we got it all wrong after independence. And unfortunately, the army took over. Now, prior to their taking over, the country was almost like, in fact, we were like Britain. Apart from being under their aegis in the olden days, when we got our independence, we were very, very sound economically, and of course, even education, especially in the Southwest. Of course, it was on regional basis, and the regions were able to thrive in their own pace. So when you talk of cocoa house, the pyramids in the north, whatever, coal in the east,
cotton industry.
The cotton industry in the north, it was simply because people had yes, people had the wherewithal. In the first instance, agriculture has always been large in the country. In fact, almost everywhere in Africa. And of course, that's how everybody started. I mean, wherever you come from, you will have been taught a thing or two about agriculture because your forebearers, your parents will have been engaged in, even if they are, yes, even if they are engaged in paying job or whatever.
They will do some subsistence farming.
Exactly. Talk more of over 80-something percent were purely farmers. Yes. So we, and of course, almost all the regions then had comparative advantages. Like we talk of cocoa and other tree crops in the Southwest here, and even other items like yam, which was one of those major intake of everybody. In the north, they had their groundnuts, pyramid, they had their cotton.
Yeah, we had so many cotton industries.
Exactly.
Textile industries.
Textile industries
sprung
through that. Yes, Kaduna and Kano especially, I know of that. Then in the southeast, they have this, their coal, yes. Yeah. And an oil palm industry too. Yes, in middle belt area, especially in the then Bende area. Yes. So we were able to do all these things without encumbrances, without. I mean, it was like competition. So if as region A is doing something, the other regions will say, let's take our own advantage too, and so we are able to thrive. We are able to do so much. But unfortunately, the oil era came, and the whole thing came crashing. And I've discussed it with so many people that people have not taken a significant recognition that the major problem we have today started when we did what the then military era called indigenization decree.
Okay, how does that affect?
Beautiful. Well, like I said, oil was the in thing, and we were getting so much from the oil, so we thought that was all we needed. Without knowing that most of the things we were using the oil money for were produced or even marketed by the foreigners, especially the British. So people were having jobs to do because they were adding value to our farm produce. Now, when this indigenization decree came, they asked them to hand off and sell, I think 60% or thereabouts to
at least 50.
No, you are 60, I remember.
Yeah, 60.
Yes, they asked them to retain 40. Most company owners could not stomach that because they knew what they were doing.
So they sold everything up.
Of course, they sold and went their way. And that was what brought this country crashing down, that people are now looking for government jobs. because we've not recovered from
Production.
that. No, of course. We have not recovered since I remember I started around effectively around 79, 80, and when Shagari came, I think he continued. So we have not recovered up to this moment, and we may never. I'm not swearing, but this is what I've seen. All this talk about now trying to bring on investors.
Okay, sir. Before we take on investors, we got a commercial break. We want to pay the bills. We'll be back.
Okay.
My name na Taiwo Kuka.
My name na Kehinde Kuka.
We be twins.
So small. Mama and Papa then they joke say now only one pikin then they expect, but not two of us they get.
Actually, na me then they expect to. Na she then get as a wolf.
Abegi. Mommy, did you go to church?
Anyway, I would like be like this Momo 100% recharge bonus. When we say you go get double of any amount when you recharge.
Go recharge your MTN line now for Momo app or dial star 671 hash now.
Make Momo send you better bonus.
Download the Momo app now or dial star 671 hash to enjoy. Momo better pass cash.
One day, you so bad with plenty money just appear for inside one Olariwaju compound. 2 seconds, everywhere bust.
Nobody see my brother. Hey, we cannot see now.
Say waiting, as the landlord of this yard, so maybe the rightful owner of that.
Hey, landlord, what could offer your size? We die here. Come on.
Now who come gets this bag? Now for the new series, Akbo, we go live.
Follow the hour way buster. Take out this bag where money full. On top the new Africa Magic Show. Akbo, once he did not throw and Kasala West Scatterground. From 18 September, every Monday and Tuesday by 6:30 for evening. On top Africa Magic, Yoruba Channel 2, Go TV. Love it.
Attention broadcasters, independent producers, and content streamers. This is your chance to buy or sell quality content. At Africa's 2023, the National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, will be launching the very first ever Nigerian TV and film content hub. Join us from the 24th to the 26th of October at the Marriott Hotel Ikeja, Lagos, and be part of a game-changing experience. Content Hub is your destination for content acquisitions, aggregation, licensing, and distribution of both local and international programs across for broadcasters in Nigeria. For more inquiries, visit www.africast.com.ng. Content Hub, your easy and affordable access to quality and affordable content. Don't miss out. The Africast Content Hub, brought to you by the National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, in collaboration with NIFS.
Sabi farmer wey dey grow crops or dey do animal farming, then begin jolly o. I don carry better tori come for you. Chai, you don hear of Farm Link Up? Hey, Farm Link Up na dem sure pass to sell your farm goodies fast o, to make sure say your farm products no dey spoil again. Farm Link Up na dem be baba for agricultural market today, and with dem you fit buy fresh farm products with shekini money. If you come be farmer wey dey find where to buy equipment, fertilizer, pesticides, and even animals, Farm Link Up full ground for you. Visit farmlinkup.com to register for free. Make you begin sell your farm products fast. For more tori on Farm Link Up, ring our number on 0901 234 5555 or visit farmlinkup.com. Make we for yarn you all your bonga opportunities will we get. Farm Link Up, connecting farmers to consumers around the world.
Thank you so much for staying with us. Solutions 93.9 FM is the station, and of course, the show this Sunday afternoon is Pendulum. And of course, we're talking about agriculture. I just call it agric business. It is agric plus the business end of it. So we're doing the combination of it, agri-business. And I have with me someone who is on the field, Alhaji Saliu Imam. the conversation continues. Before we went on that break, you were talking about indigenization,
right?
How it affected the manufacturing, the productive end of Nigeria's economy.
Exactly, right. We all let me say, we love our country. There's no doubt about that. So the indigenization thing was supposed to be a sort of owning ours. But the way we went about it wasn't right. And in fact, like I said, we were lucky, of course, because we still have oil. Unlike Zimbabwe, that this is same. That country since then has not recovered and may never recover.
They nationalized everything.
Now, you know, the funny thing about this is that we did because of South Africa, because I remember it was a reaction to apartheid, South Africa, that we did that. But the South Africans are so wise that
when they took over, they did not do it.
They did not do anything.
They were under pressure and temptation.
They never. And when this man came,
Mandela refused. He refused.
That man, in fact, if I were in his shoes, somebody who Jamie Botha was alive then.
Yeah.
Yes. That man did not touch that devil. If I were in his shoes, and many of us who are Africans or Nigerians, I would ask that man to be tied behind a vehicle and dragged through the. But that man did not. It did. And see what South Africa is today. We, the so-called freedom fighters.
Freedom fighters.
See where we landed.
Called the frontline.
Can we see where we landed ourselves?
Now let's look at agric business.
Right.
In Nigeria.
Right.
I was talking to the executive director and chief operating officer of Cocoa Research Institute.
Okay.
I think it was on Friday or Wednesday.
Yes. Was it not on Saturday?
No, it was on Thursday or Friday. It was well. And he said, Nigeria, we used to be the highest producer of cocoa globally.
Sure.
That will now come after Ghana.
Right.
And I will do just about 300,000 metric tons per annum. I said the whole of Nigeria, 1 million square kilometers. And we are not even adding any value.
No, mostly.
I don't see any chocolate produced in Nigeria. It's only the best we do is cocoa powder. And what much are we making from that? Things that we can earn money from. The yam you talked about. Our tomatoes, they just waste.
Yes, post-harvest loss. Yes.
Post-harvest loss.
So much.
So, what is it that we need to do in terms of adding value?
Okay, right. We do have some.
Well, let me just put it into two parts. What are we doing now, and what is it that we have to do?
Okay. Now, let me say, in our own, as I'm a principal producer, I'm so proudly so, and we do have a lot of adding value to some of these produce. We do have some of very, very young enterprises and young entrepreneurs into this. And we've been drumming into their ears that, look, that's what will sustain this country, but you need a lot of money. In fact, this is where the investment, in fact, this is the major problem we are having.
Where do we have to invest?
Good. Now,
and is there access to credit?
Well, that's unfortunately no.
Okay, tell us the areas we have to invest.
Now, let me say this. We need machineries for some of these things we are talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, I can assure you we have factories, we have engineers who can do at least.
Can do it there?
Sure, so many things. We have young, yes, we do have young energetic.
What about those heavy, if we want to do
we do need, where is even the electricity, my brother? Look, we have a lot of issues. That is the major problem. Let me give an instance, and I'm fully involved. One of the partners with Oyo State government was Niji Farms.
Okay.
It's very close to our office there in the More Plantation. It's building up a lot of industries there, heavy equipment there, because he's an engineer, a farmer too. He has one of the.
So he's going to deploy his knowledge.
In fact, he's told me all the southwest cassava and maize, he offtake everything. Wow. He's having issue with electricity. Because I'm close to Ibadan electricity, I try to sort of bring them together. I mean, to see that, because he threatened, he said, well, that he goes every now and then to this small country, because I look at this, all our neighboring countries are small country, and he goes there to do an installation of these machines for them. Yeah, that is no issue. Can we, as the giant of this continent, be having this issue up to this moment? That because that's not my terrain. And agriculture is a farmer, probably farmers for that matter, a farmer for that matter. So what I'm saying is that we need these big equipments. People like Niji can do something, and he's doing now.
But
Power is a problem for him. In fact, he's threatening to switch off to other sources other than national. Yes.
CNG.
That will cost me. No, that again will that huge investment again that will even maybe surpass his initial capital uptake for his production. So we have all these issues, and I pray to God that we get over it again. You know, especially to import some of those things. We are even the foreign exchange. That is our number one problem now. I don't know how this government will solve that. It's not, you can't do it by magic wand. But we do have that, I mean, a hope that God will be with this new current government. Yes, it's very intelligent, and I think he can do one or two things, but the problems are enormous.
I think the way you are putting now, power is number
now,
one.
of course, for your if you have to do industry, you need a lot of energy, a lot of power, yes, to drive those things.
And what about policies?
Yeah.
We saw central bank intervene in rice. What was the impact? Let me not say did it work. What was the impact of that intervention?
Yeah, they did few things, right? But I've said it, and in fact, I told you severally when you interviewed me that the immediate past governor, well, are they now, there are two immediate past governors, FMLA to be specific, really turned CBN to microfinance bank. And I don't have apology in saying this. I've said it severally on radio and TV interviews. Because things that he was supposed to do, no, one of your colleagues asked me that what percentage of annual budget would I suggest for agriculture? I say 50%. Everybody in the street was saying, Alaji, is that possible? I said, yes, if we did that, Nigeria would not be what it is today. If we had invested in agriculture, we would have been there. Now, let me say...
Investment in power is investment in agriculture.
Look, agriculture would have taken a lot of things. I mean, care of a lot of things for us. For one, food will be sufficient, which is one of the reasons why we have terrorism, we have kidnapping, we have so many, even herders, farmers problem. Yeah. Because people, animals will feed, human beings will feed. And the food are not there. So they've got each other. There's always a clash, of course. Again, like I said, what central bank would have done, as is done in where they too know, is bring down the, I mean, what we call cheap asset, I mean, cheap loans to agriculture.
Access to
credit. 2%. Yes. Look, there will always be abuses. There's no doubt about in our terrain in this country. That I know because I should know. I'm a religious leader. I'm a community leader. I'm a leader of the biggest industry in the world, agriculture. Yeah. So I know all these things, and I'm fully involved. There will always be abuses. But you see, if you say you want to arrest some of these and you not get anything, we're not going anywhere. If people have access to money, look, even the producers, they do need a lot of money to produce enough. And one of the things to do is not to give up. I've always said it. I'm an industrialist because I'm a farmer. I'm into agriculture industry as a businessman. So I don't need dollars. I've always said this. What I need is the environment for me to access money that I will return at good pace. You don't ask me to come and take a 3-month loan for something that will give me profit in the next 2, 3, 4 years. So these are things that were supposed to have been put in place. And that would have been done.
There's an agric bank, National Agric Credit Bank.
Look, let me say a thing about that. In the first instance, as at the last time I checked, because I've abandoned them because for what they are, they have 15 to 16% interest.
Agric loan?
Agric loan. Yes, quote me. Because I've engaged, sure. have engaged their management. I said, is that reasonable?
Who is taking it?
Of course.
People are taking it.
No, will they pay back? They know they won't pay it back. No.
They won't take collateral from them.
What collateral? What collateral do you want to take? Normally, some of these loans are guaranteed by members of association or whatever.
Okay.
Or it will be very hard to. Now, though they do have, this NISA do have microfinance bank.
NISRA.
NISA, you call them, yes.
Okay.
Nigerian investment is like insurance.
Okay.
Which was one of the best things this last government did. Unfortunately, it's not functioning well now. No, NISA was the one that has the microfinance bank.
Yes.
Which means it belongs, because NISA is central bank.
Yes.
So it belongs to central bank.
Yes.
They should have left these things. No, you go to central bank, they have a lot of so-called tables where they give loans. Different CBN that was supposed to be taking commercial banks.
They're now giving out money.
Given out just for selfishness. Because of course you've seen the outcome. See where we are. It's not hidden now that there was so much abuses, especially by the immediate past management. Yes. Just because of that, they did. It's not that they didn't know. Of course, even while in secondary school, you are taught that the central bank is supposed to bankers bank to check and have policy on this economy should be run. But instead of that, they left that and started doing microfinance bank.
Central bank.
Of course. If you give loan to ordinary person, is that the job for?
They said they are looking for over 1 trillion now.
Yeah, I pray they will get it.
Where would they get that?
They dump it where they know they will not get it.
What is the challenge of those who you have identified power?
Yeah.
Even
it's access to funds.
They say Railway Corporation has the biggest foundry probably in Africa, that there's nothing they cannot fabricate.
They do, in those days, I wouldn't know now. Yes.
So
because mostly they fabricate parts of their engines. Yes. So not for, I'm not sure they're engaged in other fabrication. But we do have a lot of young engineers
who can fabricate.
Of course, that's no issue. But the bigger, the larger, this must be imported. There's no doubt about that. Yes.
When I worked with Passenger Farms,
okay,
that was the first place I saw what they call a combined harvester.
Sure.
The combined harvester is way higher than
of course, sure.
You know, of course, combined harvester, it could harvest corn, it could harvest rice.
So much, sure.
But the maintenance of it, if anything goes, but will they ever get the spare parts?
Where will you get it? But like Niji now, will have spare parts. Yeah.
They will fabricate.
Sure.
You just bring that one.
Yeah, they do. Yes, they do that. And there are so many, even the young ones that are very small, that have small foundries. They do some of these things, especially the small equipment.
That's easier to manage.
Very easy for them, and they are managing. It's not that we don't have there without. The only thing is that if we could have stable electricity, we could do more.
Electricity, it is so key.
Yeah, so key.
Now, what is Oyo State? There is a Oyo State Farmer School. What is it? What is the school about?
Well, that school is where Oyo State Farmers Field School.
Field school.
Yes, right. We learn there free of charge. Okay. Oyo State government funds. I'm not saying they give us money, but they pay the salaries of lecturers, instructors. Okay. Yes.
What do you teach them there?
Everything that has to do with agriculture. I will invite you one of these days to come. Yes, please. That you learn so much that you will not wish. I mean, you will blame yourself. Why were you not there early? Because we talk about everything. Well, the civil servants do have that, but we do teach or do learn what is on ground as at that moment, especially this particular, especially on seasonal
knowledge.
Exactly.
The
latest knowledge and about the season we are into.
What's available for that season,
what we are supposed to do. Okay. Now we say each morning when we meet, you ask your challenges on the field.
Okay.
And people say, even not only challenges, your successes. We do say, look, I did this, it worked. I didn't do this, and I have this for my farm, please. And in fact, most of us are like me now. I'm an encyclopedia of agriculture. Talk more experience, and I learned that too. talk more of our facilitators. I mean the instructors.
Where do you get them from?
No, the Oyo State government, Minister of Agri.
Oh,
State,
Minister of
yes,
Agri.
yes.
Provides
The
instructors.
former ADP.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah,
they
yeah,
have
yeah.
Extension Services Department.
They are still engaging them.
They do, of course. They are now in the ministry, but we do this with them. All our all the area specialities, specialists into livestock, cropping, poultry, animal, whatever you want to think about.
We have had complaints about extension services. I spoke to a professor of extension services. In fact, I remember that seminar we were together.
Yes.
Somebody from the Ministry of Agri said extension services is the problem.
Yeah.
What is the role of extension services?
Now, what they were supposed to be doing on the farm is not what we do in the class.
Okay.
Because for one, you know, when ADP started, it was, I think, the World Bank that funded up to certain years in the 80s. So that, I mean, they were giving vehicles like motorcycles to go into the real farmers and gather them, give them from the research institutes the latest knowledge, the latest discoveries, the latest researches or whatever, take to the farms. That was what they were doing. Of course, they don't have that with done anymore. They are not. I mean, just talk of now that petroleum is another thing.
Yeah, but you see, it is extension service is so key.
It is.
I remember the university where I worked.
Yeah.
We were about establishing a radio station for extension services.
Yes, you see,
and that radio station I remember was eventually established. It was for extension services because the Faculty of Agri was doing so well. In fact, the Faculty of Agri has now been moved to Saying so that it will be nearer to the field.
You see, we have a lot of agencies, non-government NGOs that are trying to come in to bridge the gap in the extension service provision. That we have Agency of Soil Sciences. They have some apps that you can get into and ask questions about what you are facing. Yes.
But that's for the educated.
Well, look, farmers are now educated. We may not be too many.
But when you compare the number, I know
of
the very young are involved in farming now.
Exactly.
But what about that smallholder farmer who have 2 hectares?
Yes.
Even 1 hectare.
Yeah, right. Yes. Well, that again, it's not that totally these are, because some of these areas like Gomasho, Oyo, Okiogun, Barapa, they still have zonal officers there. They do. I mean, the state government, I know ADP. I'm not sorry, ADP. The Minister of Agri Extension Service Department. They do. Yes, I can show.
But how many field officers do they have?
Very few. Very, very. In a place where they would need 10, maybe they have 1 or 2, at most 2.
And
that is
even
the problem
ones
now.
Available, how much logistics is available for them?
That, in fact, they don't have where we do to reach out to the farmers.
They're just there in the offices.
That's very
ineffective.
True. We must be very factual to ourselves. Yeah, that's very true.
So that means they're ineffective.
Yes, that's very true. That's very true. But you see, like this farmer free school we are having, it's just to bridge that gap.
Yeah.
And we do, look, I just came back last week from Ibarapa area, where I went to sensitize the farmers onto what we are now doing in coffee. Okay, and ordinarily that would have been the extension service providers. But then we do that ourselves, because what the state government did for me especially, I want to give that opportunity to other farmers. So every now and then I go out and say, look, this is the latest we can do. Especially in coffee, we're talking about what we can do now. These are that's the fantastic thing about Oyo State. And let me tell you this: coffee is the second most traded, most valuable commodity in the whole world, after gold. And that is what we now produced in your state. Very few states can do that.
People should know coffee is different from cocoa.
It is definitely.
So
In fact,
people will not think coffee is from cocoa.
No, many people may have, yeah.
There's that confusion, I know.
Yes, the fact is that most cocoa farmers want to do coffee now.
Coffee beans.
Because coffee, yes, that's right.
I remember coffee
Yes,
beans.
we are now having some sort of relationship with because I'm the state chairman of coffee. The two state chairmen of they have two cocoa associations, and the two of them, the state chairman of those two, that's the Cocoa Association of Nigeria and Cocoa Farmer Association of CFAM. The two chairmen, we do meet every night. In fact, we met together with the Honorable Commissioner, and that man is fantastic. When I told him that we grow coffee, he said, "Is that so?" Then he told us we should work together. So this, we are going to ensure that coffee will not bring, because look.
Is coffee getting down? Which part of Oyo State is it grown?
Mostly, like I said, in Ibarapa area. But one thing good about Southwest, especially Oyo State, is that most things thrives here. Let me give Let me give one example. A research institute wanted to research onto one crop, and they asked me personally to take them to farms where they will get bad soil, infertile soil. We couldn't get anywhere they couldn't get, because I took them to my farm. They said, "No, this place is too fertile." They went to other places, and they just told me that the only area they got non-fertile soil was in the area where they have sea. Sand. Can you see the blessed country we have, especially the Southwest? Why can't we take advantage of it? If you go coffee now, yes.
What crop do you want to test?
Beautiful is bean. Cowpea.
Cowpea.
Yeah.
What does it?
It doesn't need fertile soil. No. In fact, it provides
water.
Not only water. In fact, it generates fertility for soil itself. If you have a soil, any area that's not doing well, plant any of these legumes. Yes. Any of the legumes. It will fertilize those places, and it will thrive and fertilize those areas. That's why they grow much in the north, where they don't have fertile soil, where they use mighty fertilizers. Yes, but here you grow anything, it will be over fertilized.
Now, let us talk about the challenges apart from power, the value chain. Researchers have told us that when harvest is done, between harvest and getting even those raw stuff to the market, 40% is wasted. What is responsible for that?
Transportation one. Terrible. Well, thanks to God, Oyo State is doing something in the rural.
You say ramp, are they doing the ramp road?
Well, at least to some. I mean, look, like Okogum is supposed to be the food basket of Oyo State at least. That place has been done.
They are doing the rural
roads, yes. Now, that is a big problem. Then again, the equipment we use for the harvesting, like some of us have access, sometimes crude, but some of us have access to some of these researching institutes, and they graciously give us some of the baskets that, especially equipment like baskets, that is plastic baskets that we could use to improve it instead of the normal woven basket that will add to the generating some of these fruits, some of these produce. So we are into that, and when we need more, we may have to pay. They give us very few, but we can, and it's very good. In fact, we not only farmers, they ask me to bring together, even the yellow jar who are into selling tomatoes, and they are now asking for those things. So it's like we are getting some improvement in that area. Again, the major problem in agriculture is funding. If we have enough funds to produce, I can assure you this country will be better.
Is that the business?
Definitely, the person like me will not be there. Like I said, I'm from corporate world, so I don't play around with my little funds I have. Of course, very profitable. You saw a thing. Look, let me give you an example. In this room you have, you can be making your thousands, if not millions, in doing only production of seedlings. Seedlings, especially if you know what we call budding or grafting. Look, you'll be making your money. Talk more of a.
There is no market.
Definitely. You suck oranges every day now.
I just don't suck it. I even eat everything.
Exactly. So that we produce that. You don't. It's not from the sky. It's not rain. So that, again, a lot of things you can do, providing either seed or seedlings yourself alone.
There's no Jewish farming industry left in Ibadan.
No, unfortunately.
Mr. President, you should know. Lafayette farming industry, and then we had another one that we worked.
It's quite unfortunate. In fact,
we don't have the raw material.
Raw material is not available, especially I know the last one was asking for what's the name now? Pineapple. People were encouraged to go. In fact, they were funding some production. Yes, because I got involved. Unfortunately, it just folded. I wouldn't know what really. Of course, I'm sure part of the problem will be probably funds. Again, the almighty electricity, energy.
Almighty electricity.
Yes.
Is there no alternative to this government or whatever? This project. I have seen some companies. I know some companies. Even in this environment, huge big companies that don't look like they don't even have anything to do with this project again.
So let me tell you, it's not the problem of electricity, because I should know because I'm involved. It's not the problem of discos. It's either generation or distribution. You know, there's a lot of problems because as a community leader, I go to them and ask questions. I said, look, why when there was a day we had a meeting, there was a contingent of lawmakers, reps to be said from Abuja, and I was invited. I told the then, let's see, ED, you sleep well in your house. But I don't sleep as a community leader. 3 a.m. they wake up at that imam and say we don't have electricity. They had a noise from the transformer. They wake me up. He was touched. He came down from the podium and gave me his card. If you need anything, please don't tell anybody. Call me. And that is the truth. So you see, and again, I know that even if power is generated to distribute, because most of the distribute channel transmission. Some of the wires they use is absolutely worthless. A lot of energy is being lost through this. We have a lot of problems here. Actually, that's the problem. So you say disco has little or nothing to do with either generation or transmission. Their own is like like if I produce a gari, you understand? Then someone was supposed to take that gari to you who be a marketer. But on the way he tipped the gari and he couldn't bring gari to you.
After doing your own part,
I've done my own production.
And then they are not saying
the person who is to sell is waiting. The person who is to bring to you just tipped and threw away the gari. What will you? Where do we play? That is the problem. That's the situation we have in the country. I was at the NIC, that's the electricity regulation, whatever, Abuja. Yeah. I was there, and all the discos were there too. We told them all these things. Please find solution to some of this.
So
again, please, this prepaid meter is very, very essential. If the government wishes to help the Talakas, the indigents, give us this at little or no cost.
I was giving. They were chasing me around to give me this meter.
Because your own area, it was the turn of your area. So many areas are not as fortunate as your area.
They were.
I know so. Yes. It was the turn of your area, but so many areas are denied. I know where there was a rollout. Yes, they were asking some areas They will go to areas, and if they don't see you, they knock your door and say, please, we want to give you free. That's the truth. But how many, I mean, just like when they were rolling out, I think for the whole Oyo State and some others, I think just about 100,000 or thereabout. Whereas we have millions of houses. So what are we talking about?
How do you know how to even collect money when there's no
when you don't give us light?
When there's no metering.
You know, metering. You just do estimated bills.
And then you start chasing people to pay. People who you know now. Because when there's a challenge, we must find alternatives.
Sure.
Small scale industries.
Yeah.
You can use generator. But here we are. Petrol is where it is.
And now they want us to turn it to gas. Gas is so expensive now.
Are we
No, not now. No, because that's the fact. Look, and again, the major problem is foreign exchange, to be candid. Look, do you know that if government is not doing something, which I won't want to mention is bringing back palliative because I wouldn't know, a thing that I'm not proud to, confidently discuss. The petroleum would have been about 1,000, petrol would have been up to 1,000 naira now because the seven landing cost is about 700 plus now. So it had, because simply we don't have the foreign exchange to import. It's only NNPC that now imports. So we won't know where to start or what comment to make on some of these things. And that's the truth.
So, those who are involved in agriculture, they can do more than that.
Sure, definitely.
But they are handicapped.
Yeah, especially the processing that you mentioned, and it's very key too, in order to at least to give jobs to yes. But we can do better. If we have good electricity to do the processing or whatever, then the production itself is encouraged by cheap funding and cheap loans to access it.
Very, very. Now, what are we going to be saying? In Nigeria, 2% in the United States, less than 2% are involved in agriculture.
Okay.
In Nigeria, 85% of
a bad yes, well,
yes, there is not enough.
Good, because you are not producing enough. You are really small holding hand to mouth production.
Hand to mouth,
yes,
that is
subsistence farming, yes. That's what we are doing.
What do we need to do to encourage people, especially young ones?
No, I'm happy to say that we have a lot of farmers who are young, whom I'm mentoring, and they are very interested in doing agriculture. In fact, some of them are graciously by the state government, and I can assure you, state government is doing one or two things in agriculture that I lack. I'm not a politician, and I don't want to.
Tell us. These people who are listening are key.
Yes. Now, the Honorable Commissioner told us that there was about $1 billion for farmers, about 500 million for the youth, and other farmers 500. That will be rolled out very soon, just to encourage production. Again, these are the agri-business. I saw one big farm in partnership with the state government, the immediate past chairman of Nigerian Football Federation.
Oh,
Amadi. Yeah, it's doing fantastically here. And again, in fact, he's doing this what we call greenhouse.
Okay.
Which is fantastic. Again, like I know, Niji farms into partnership with Oyo State government, and so are others. In fact, when I engage one of the OSADA staff and say, look, this is fantastic things going on, he said that's just a tip of the iceberg. So I hope they can continue that way. Again, the loans that they want to give to the farmers should get to the real farmers.
What do you have had this thing over and over? Real farmers.
Yeah.
Real farmers.
Yeah.
Are they fake farmers?
They are really. Of course, most of these things. Let's face it. We are in political dispensation. there must be patronage, whether you like it or not. But I usually say
Patronage?
yes.
That is not patronage. That is waste.
Good. Now I always say this.
You patronize them for what they're engaged in.
Yeah.
You don't patronize. Somebody calls himself a Gary seller. You say, okay, supply me Gary. You give him money, you cannot supply me Gary.
You go and be searching for where to get your cost. Now, you know, the fact is this. I always say this. Give your patrons, or whatever you want to call them, with basia. But give us in teaspoon. We're okay.
Really?
Look, we, like I said, even you don't need to own hundreds of acres of land to make money in the agriculture. The little room we have, you can be making your good money if you know what you are doing. So an acre, knowledge. An acre of land, you will be able to make your thousands, if not millions, if you are consistent, if you do good agricultural practices. Whatever you want to, not only agriculture, whatever you want to engage, especially investment, you must know you must have knowledge about such an industry. So if you do in agriculture, you can make a lot of money.
They say the farmers are old.
We are really. We are. But some of us are.
Your own family is different from the kind of farmers I'm talking about. I'm talking about who and cutlass farmers.
Good. Now, the fact is this, and I always say this to farmers, those we call old and who and cutlass farmers are the ones feeding us now.
That's what I hear.
That is the truth. No, they are still doing.
So how do we now, when they age like this, how do we bridge that gap with fresh blood that you are talking about?
Yeah, the youth, yes, especially. We are encouraging them. Yeah. Unfortunately, most of us will not have children who will take over from us because, like, I have a doctor, I have an accountant, I have just one of them read agriculture. And,
that's enough.
Yeah. And so many of us who want our children to be surgeons, to be lawyers. But again, that does not mean that even as a journalist, you cannot engage in agriculture. At least to feed yourself.
That's the passion.
So you see, one of the things I want to really encourage is for you to have what we call home gardening situation. And I want to propagate this. And I think I can work with you. I'm ready to give people seeds. I've just produced a lot of okra.
Please, I think it is time that you should be able to give your number out so that I can contact you, because that will be a lot of help. So people don't know where to go to.
Yes, yes.
People, you know, I know where to go to.
Yeah.
I have access. Others don't have access. They don't even know what to do.
That's right.
So if I want 6 number, so these are not just the normal seeds.
No. Exactly. Because we test before we give out. Look, like, let me give you this tip. I do agriculture right inside my bedroom, and you say how. Now, whatever I want to plant, I test, run. I test it within my within the confine of my room. Soillessly, I don't use soil.
Oh, really?
Yes, there's a medium we use. I won't tell you now. Again, so I now test. No, this is viable. This is not. Okay. Inside my compound, there's no tree you cannot see.
Wow.
There's no vegetable you cannot see. Then I have in my office where government gives, we have a lot of things going on there. Then we have farms, 20-25 acres. So I'm 24/7 engaged in agriculture. Even when I sleep, because I see what I produce inside my bedroom.
Wow. In 30 seconds or thereabouts, speak to the youth.
Yes. I will say this. The youth, you have an opportunity to be whatever you wish to be. Of course, maybe you have other engagement, other professions other than agriculture, but please do have 1 or 2 things to do about agriculture for you to even feed yourself or your family, then the nation. So whatever, again, this is an opportunity. We have what we call Farmers Field School. It's Oyo, yes, please go and train there. It's Oyo State Zona of Oyo State ADP Zona, yes, more plantation. Please, when you call me, I will receive you and even steer you to some of these youth groups that we mentor.
All right. Well. Nothing that has a beginning that doesn't have an end. But this is not an end to it. We are just adjourning. So, we adjourn proceedings. This afternoon on Pendulum, I've been in conversation with Alhaji Saleh Imam. He's the chairman of Agri Development Farmers Association of Oyo State. He's Oyo State chairman. National Coffee and Tea Association of Nigeria. And of course, he is the coordinator of Oyo State Farmers Field School. So, thank you so much,
Pleasure
for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for the illumination and the engagement. Well, it's very Reji Ajishoko presenting. God bless you all. Bye for now.
I appreciate it.